20 hours of work, 164 lines of code. Yes, 164. And RubyGame is done. Most of that time was spent learning the language itself because I have never used Ruby for anything. It's a pretty interesting language. First thing I learned is that it loves its gems. Ruby has little snippets of code called gems, which enable it to have such a simplistic looking syntax in the code itself. The problem is, if you do not have those gems, your files will not work. So therefore, if my file is ported to a computer that does not have Ruby, i.e. most computers that there are, I don't know, it will not work. So that's a problem. The language itself is pretty simplistic. I want to create a class. I just have to do a class. I want to create an object of that class. I got my class called player. See how many times I can say class in this video. Got your object, got your variable name, player equals player new, bam, done. No semicolon, no disgusting syntax, just text, and it's beautiful. Except for these colons, I don't know why they're there. They need to be there because otherwise they don't work, but I don't know. Ruby broke its own rules. Biggest problem I ran into, could not create an executable, so if I want to run it, I have to use command prompt. So I also learned a little bit of command prompt. Oh, another problem with Ruby. It likes to decide that sometimes it's going to work and sometimes it's not going to work. So you can see I've had this specific problem a few times. Ruby 39, let's go to 39, right here. This little star is a multiplication sign, multiplying the time left by the number 2. Right now, Ruby has decided I'm not going to let this work. Delete, put it back in, save it, run it again, and it works. Didn't change anything. But anyway, so here's the game. You're a spaceship. Control with the arrow keys. Left for turning left, right for right, forward for forward, backward for nothing. You fly around in your spaceship, collect noisy stars. I've never actually played the game with headphones before, so I didn't realize quite how noisy they were. So you fly around, you collect as many stars as you can. You have 90 seconds to do so. I chose 90 seconds because I thought it was a happy medium between there's too much time, I'm getting bored, and there wasn't enough time, I didn't get to play. So that's the 90 seconds. You fly around, collect your noisy stars that are also red, and I chose red because I thought it contrasted with the background so you could actually see them. And that's pretty much it. One other quirk that I have is that the more time that passes, the more stars spawn. So you can see now there's quite a few of them, where before there weren't really that many. So yeah. Turned off collision so you can pass through walls because I don't like collision in these types of games. So you just kind of fly around, collect your stars, collect as many of them as you can before the time runs out, yada yada yada, and then the time runs out, and bam. Stars are no longer spawning, your controls have been locked, the game is over. I'm mashing the arrow keys, it does not work. So, unfortunately, if you want to play it again, you have to quit out, bring up the screen, and that's the only way to run it again from the command file. As you can now see, a lot less stars, but they're starting to spawn more frequently as the maximum number increases. That is what I showed here. That's the determining factor. But anyway, that's RubyGame. Pretty interesting project. Definitely learned a lot. If I were to ever make another game, I'd probably start with Ruby just on the account of A, it's a pretty simple language, and B, it doesn't hold your hand. You're able to do a lot with it, and it's pretty easy to do it, but there's definitely some learning to be done as you go deeper and deeper into the language. And I just hit surface level here, and I was able to make something pretty impressive. So that's pretty much it. That's RubyGame. Yeah, it was fun.